I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're speaking with Charles Disvon Rayford. He is an extraordinary storyteller, and he continues to enthrall readers with his Godly series. His fourth book is called Quest for Vengeance, and it plunges readers into an intricate blend of mythology and family drama, following the struggles of Adem Mccloud and Ko-e, a woman with her own hidden army and profound secrets. We're delighted to have Charles join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Prime 7 Media for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like him by subscribing to our channel. Charles, good to see you today, my friend.
Yeah, it's good to be here, Logan.
Wonderful, wonderful. Loved your book. Let's tell the folks at home the big picture. What is Quest for Vengeance about?
Quest for Vengeance is mostly about a young man. It's kind of a coming of age story as well. And it's sort of a prequel slash sequel to the third book. And it's mostly about Adam and how he grows up, what happens with his parents, how he goes to live with his aunt. And then past that, when he has children as an adult, and how he tries to save his mother. And that's mostly what it's about. It brings in, like you said, a blend of mythologies as well. You have Greek mythology, Norse mythology.
Tell us about the series itself, Godly. How many, this is the fourth book. Are there more to come? Do they all revolve around Adam and his story?
So that's the interesting thing. They're actually all separate stories that
Mm-hmm.
all take place in the same series. They're all very connected. They all are about different family members, and they are all the grandchildren of Sebastian and Trinity. There's a total right now of 5 books I've published. I finished a sixth book, which is titled Love and Murder Part 2, the fifth one being Love and Murder, and the seventh one I'm actually currently writing.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you're a busy man, a very prolific writer. What's it like writing these stories and living in that world while you're creating these adventures?
I love being with the characters. I love just everything about it, the world that I've set up, like everything about it, the different cities, the different dimensions, the different families of gods,
Mhm.
and just everything. It's really this really amazing world because the story focuses mostly on the gods and what they can do versus, where most mythology stories usually focus on Zeus choosing a mortal and then that guy goes and does all this. Well, instead, this story focuses on what the gods actually do
Mhm.
because there's never really an explanation of that. They're just around doing what they want, starting wars, whatever. Well, in this story, their job is to protect their dimensions. And I start off very small by introducing my dimension before I start breaking into like our dimension. Because the thing about Adam's dimension is that he lives separate from where we live. He lives like where we live in like Zeus's dimension.
Mhm.
But Adam lives in his grandfather's dimension, who is Sebastian.
Gotcha. Very, 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 very cool. Tell me, if you were to take one of the books from the series and turn it into a film, which one would you choose to do first?
I would probably do Trinity, the
Mm.
second book in the series. It's the
And
book that really introduces the characters that kind of keep the series going forward.
gotcha.
Like Adam, for example, Adam's situation is that he's actually the son of a reincarnated goddess.
Mhm.
And that goddess in particular was Sebastian's daughter. And she was sacrificed in the past. And so when she was reborn, she found a husband, got married, and she gave birth to Adam. So, there's a lot of stuff like that in my story, a lot of reincarnation, a lot of death. And then one of the interesting things is I do explore hell. And like in the Godly series, hell and heaven are both two separate dimensions that are multi-layered and have different rulers within both.
How
So
important
it's a lot
is
of
the,
characters.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. How important is the theme of religion in your book?
So okay, I myself am a Christian. even though the book may be a little dark and everything. But I myself consider myself a Christian, so I try to represent everything properly, if that makes any sense. Like
Sure.
if I were to write God into my story, he would be the Almighty God.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be any other gods before him, type situation. Whereas, same thing with Jesus Christ. He would be Jesus Christ. I wouldn't write him any differently than what he's been written.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Who would you have play the role of Adam if you were going to cast it for a film?
That's an interesting question. It would have to be someone who's like, kind of young looking, maybe in their 20s. I'd even go as far as to say, what's the gentleman's name that played Batman recently? I always forget his name.
There's so many Batman.
He was in Harry Potter. He was
Oh
in Harry
yeah,
Potter.
yeah. It's
I
the guy.
always forget his name from Twilight.
Right. It's the guy from Twilight. Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson, yes. That
Yeah.
guy, I could see him playing Adem Mccloud.
Okay.
I could see him doing it.
I could see that too. I could see that too. And how about Ko-e? Who would play her?
Now, Ko-e, that's an interesting one because to keep it straight, all of the gods and goddesses look like they're in their young 20s.
Right.
So it would have to be someone young, and it's hard to really call that one.
Yeah. And there's not too many
Because
standout actors who are 20. Generally, you know them well by the time they're in their 30s and 40s. You know what I mean?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
I could
That's
see
why it's so
a
hard.
young Jennifer Lawrence maybe playing the part, but she's kind of aged out of it now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I can see Jennifer Lawrence, someone like her,
Yeah.
or even somebody like the girl that played Wednesday recently, Jenna
Oh
Ortega. I
yeah.
could see her.
Yep. Yep. She
I've
would be
seen her
great.
in other roles besides Wednesday, so I could
Absolutely.
see her pulling that off.
That's part of the fun of this is that you write it, you live in that world when you're writing it, then you visualize it. It'd be such a thrill to see one of your books on the screen, don't you think?
It would probably blow my mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would blow my mind, and I would cry. I
I
would
can
cry.
see why. Well, because Hollywood does such a great job of creating this world. When you watch Harry Potter, or whether you're watching Star Trek or whatever it is, you feel like that place exists. So to
Well, I'm a
see,
movie guy myself, so I definitely understand what you mean. I'm a movie guy, and one of the big things I like right now is the Marvel universe. That's
Mhm.
really been impressive because
Yeah,
I've read comic books since I was a kid. So seeing them on the screen like that, actually playing out the panels, like the way that they would be in the comic book, you're seeing all these action scenes and everything. It's really amazing.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So there are 7 books in the Godly series.
So that's right. That right now there's a total of 7. I do have 2 more that I plan on writing, and I think
Okay.
maybe the ninth one may be the completion, but I'm not too sure.
Right, right. Well, that's the beauty of being a writer is that you're the creator. So it can be as long or as short or as anything can happen in your mind. You just put it down to paper. When did you realize you had a love for writing?
When I was very young, when I was a child, actually, like I mentioned, the Marvel universe, I was into DC and Marvel as a kid, and I saw that, and I saw Stan Lee and all these other guys as like being really great creators because they created these like big worlds, and I thought, well, Stan didn't really do it alone, right? And I thought I would like to do something like that, and I think at the age of 11, when I started reading Harry Potter, that's what got me thinking I wanted to do something like this,
Right.
like something where there's a world of magic and like spells and curses, but I couldn't put my finger on how I wanted to do it until I found Greek mythology.
Yeah. Well, you've put your finger on it now because you're doing it. This is the 4th book in the Godly series. It is called Vengeance. Quest for Vengeance. It is a wonderful book. It blends mythology and family drama and follows the struggle of Adem Mccloud and Ko-e as The two set off on quite an adventure. We are delighted to have Charles join us here today on Spotlight. Charles, thanks so much for being our guest.
Hey, thank you for having me.
My pleasure. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.